A good love story never goes to waste. Hello, I'm a researcher and author of All Things Retirement for Women 50 Plus. It's my good fortune that women around the world, that's mature women, email me their stories. I get personal stories about weight loss, finances, love, aging, etc. These wonderful women give me permission to tell their stories. Please enjoy part 1 of Tess's love story. Tess Martin was 41, but time had touched her gently. She wore her age like linen, soft, wrinkled in the right places, but graceful and quietly strong. Her dark hair, once sun-kissed and wild in her teens, was tied in a bun most days, a few streaks of silver weaving through it like whispered stories. Her eyes, a soft moss green, were thoughtful and patient. She had a presence that was easy to miss if you weren't looking closely, but if you caught it, you'd see someone deep and kind and steady as an old oak. Tess worked as an office manager for a mid-sized engineering firm in a suburban business park. She was the one everyone turned to when things fell apart, photocopiers jamming, project deadlines looming, or someone's birthday cake forgotten in the rush. Tess held it all up. She'd long given up waiting for recognition. She had a way of fading into the background, efficient and reliable, a fixture more than a person in many people's minds. Her high school years were quiet. She wasn't unpopular, but boys didn't pay much attention to the girl who preferred books and walking dogs to gossip and parties. Secretarial college had been much the same. Tess had watched others pair off, fall in love, fall apart, but she never quite let herself step into the spotlight. It wasn't shyness, exactly. More like a sense that love was something grander than anything she'd been offered. She wasn't willing to settle. Then at 24, Harold with his long limbs, boyish grin, and an earnestness that made her feel like she was the only person in the world. They met at a small bookstore that hosted poetry nights. He'd read something badly, and she'd laugh softly in the back. Afterward, he came over to defend his dreadful poem, and they talked until the shop owner had to nudge them out the door. They had a summer. Picnics in the park, long drives to nowhere, lazy Sundays in bed. Tess had never known anything like it. She thought she could grow old with him. But Harold had an ache in him, too. Something he couldn't name. Something that needed purpose, escape, adventure. So he joined the American Navy, leaving behind only a note, not even a goodbye. Tess was shattered. She spent the next few years quietly repairing herself. Love, she decided, was not dependable. She stopped looking for it. At 32, she met Bill. He was kind, funny, and reliable. He worked in logistics and loved spreadsheets. They dated steadily, and she even let herself believe it might be safe this time. After 8 months, she brought up the future, something gentle like, "Would you want a little place together one day?" He panicked. "Marriage isn't for me," he said, backing out of her life as smoothly as he'd entered it. It didn't hurt the way Harold had hurt her, but it left a dull, familiar ache. Another door closed. After that, Tess turned toward others. She became the helper. She took her aging mother on a vacation to Holland, wheeling her along cobbled streets, pretending not to notice when her mother called the hotel receptionist dearie 3 times too many. She babysat nieces and nephews when her siblings needed a weekend away. She sat for friends who went on wine tours. Her life was not empty, but it wasn't hers either. Everyone knew they could count on Tess, and so she gave. But that summer, perhaps out of rebellion, perhaps out of exhaustion, Tess did something she'd never done before. She rented a cottage by the lake for 2 weeks. She didn't tell anyone. She read novels on the porch. She drank wine alone at sunset. She swam in the mornings and walked barefoot on pine needles. It was the first time she had claimed something purely for herself. That's where she met Jerry. He cut the grass for the lake cottages, wore old denim shorts, and had a tan that looked permanent. He was missing a molar and always smelled like gasoline and sunshine. He wasn't what you'd call refined, but he had an ease about him, a laugh that felt earned. They talked. Then they flirted. Then one night, after grilled cheese sandwiches and cheap white wine, Tess took him to bed. It was good. Not life-changing, but tender, and for once, it was on her terms. The next morning, they had coffee. He didn't stay for more. It wasn't meant to be a forever thing. Tess knew the difference now. As her 2 weeks came to a close, she packed her bags with a quiet heaviness. She drove down the winding road, the lake in her rearview mirror, and didn't look back. Jack, another cottage renter who had noticed her walking every morning, showed up just an hour later. He had brought a thermos of coffee and a clumsy sort of courage. He'd come to say hello, to maybe ask if she wanted to go for one last swim or share a lunch. But Tess was already gone. He stood in her empty driveway for a moment, shrugged to himself, and walked back to his car. Back home, Tess returned to her life. Her mother wanted help planning a knee surgery. Her sister needed a babysitter again. The office was in chaos because someone spilled tea on the network printer. Tess handled it all, as always. But something in her had shifted. A memory of lake water on her skin, of choosing herself, of not waiting for someone to save her. And maybe someday she'd go back. But if not, that was okay too. Because Tess had learned, love wasn't just about someone arriving. Sometimes it was about claiming your own space before anyone else could take it from you. In video 2 of the Tess story, you find out what happened to her and how it happened. Good thing Tess is strong, but also love is strong. Please comment about your life or your love life after 40 or after 50. Also let us know where you are located so we can all bond. See you in video 2, more of Tess.